So you found the perfect house here in Lake Ariel, Pennsylvania. The offer accepted. Seller said yes. You're this close to getting the keys. Then that home inspection report shows up in your inbox. And your stomach drops and you start reading. Crack caulking around bathtub, staining on ceiling, aging roof, fogging windows, cosmetic blemishes all over. And you think, am I buying a money pit? Here's what your inspector will never tell you, and what most real estate agents actually should really explain before this process even starts, that not every defect on that report is a problem. Some of the scariest sounding issues cost less than a pizza to fix, and some of the quietest ones, they're the ones that can cost you thousands. Now, I know this is important to you, and because I hear these concerns every single day. So right here, I'm giving you the exact playbook, what property defects you can completely ignore when buying a home, and what should make you stop the deal cold. So stay until the end, because I'm going to share with you, I'm going to give you that one negotiation strategy that saves buyers thousands of dollars every single time. So let me give you the direct answer right up front, because you deserve the clarity before we go any further. What property defects can you ignore when buying a home? Well, you can safely ignore the cosmetic defects, those surface level imperfections that affect how a home looks, but not how it functions. This includes, chipped paint, scratched hardwood floors, outdated light fixtures, squeaky doors, worn carpet, stained carpet, minor drywall, scuffs, aging but working appliances. These are normal in any previously owned home. They're not structural. They're not safety hazards. And in most cases, they're not worth blowing a real estate deal over. Now, here's the mindset shift that changes everything. Your home inspector is paid to document every single thing that they observe, everything that they find, from a missing outlet cover to a burnout porch light. So when you see 35 or 40 items on a report, it's not a sign that the house is falling apart. That's the sign that your inspector is doing a good job. That's what they're to do, to itemize and to observe everything that they see. The number of items on the report, doesn't matter. What matters is the type of items. So we're going to sort everything out into two different buckets: cosmetic and costly. So let's start with what you can ignore. Here, the property defects that you can and usually should ignore when buying a home. Defect number one: the cosmetic blemishes, the scratched floors, the peeling paint, the on the baseboards, the ugly wallpaper from 1987, the stain on the carpet in the guest bedroom. All cosmetic. They affect how the home looks, and sure, they're ugly, but they don't affect how the home functions, and they don't affect your safety or your family's safety. And in a competitive market like Lake Ariel, asking seller to repaint walls or replace carpet is really just a fast way to irritate the seller and possibly lose the deal entirely. My advice: let it go. Budget a few $100s after closing and then make it your own. Defect number two: foggy or cloudy windows. You walk through a home and you notice the glass in the window looks hazy or foggy between the panes. Well, this means that the thermal seal has failed. The insulating space between the glass that has escaped, and it's annoying. And yes, that's ugly too, no doubt. But it's not a structural emergency. Absolutely not. A failed window seal slightly reduces your energy efficiency, but it doesn't compromise the safety or livability of your home. You can replace the glass pane, redo the gas, not the entire window frame, for just a few $100s. And I've got guys that'll do that for you. So don't let a foggy window fog your judgment on an otherwise solid property. Defect three: minor grading and drainage issues. The inspector notes that the soil around the foundation needs to slope away from the home, or that a downspout is missing. The extension. This sounds scary because it involves the word foundation, but the fix here is often a $20 trip to Home Depot, to buy a few things to get you all fixed up. Minor grading corrections and downspout extensions they're maintenance items. They're not structural crisis. Now, and this is important, if there is an active water intrusion in the basement because of drainage problems, well, that's a different story, and we'll get into that in a moment. Defect number 4, aging but functional systems. If the report says that the roof is 18 years old, nearing the end of its useful life, the HVAC system is 14 years old, the water heater is 10 years old, these are all red flags on paper, but here's the question that really matters. Are they working right now? Are they performing the function that they're supposed to perform? And if that roof is not actively leaking, if the AC is blowing cold air, if the water heater is heating water, well, these are aging systems, granted, but they're not failing ones. So you can't reasonably expect a seller to replace a functioning system simply because it's old. So what can you do? With these systems, you can use them as a negotiating point to get a seller credit at closing, which we'll cover in a strategy section as well. Defect number 5, tripping hazards and minor safety items. Loose handrail on steps, cracked section of the driveway, a missing GFCI outlet. We see these a lot in the kitchens and the bathrooms. These items, will absolutely appear on your inspection report, and they're real, and they should be addressed, but they're inexpensive fixes, often under $100. They're not reasons to walk away from the home that you've fallen in love with. So let's talk about the ones that you should never ignore. These are the property defects that are actual deal breakers, or at minimum, serious negotiation points. Red flag number 1, major foundation issues and structural issues. There's a big difference between a hairline crack in a concrete basement floor, which is normal settling, and a horizontal crack in a foundation wall that is bowing inward. The first one, watch it. The second one, either call a structural engineer immediately or just simply walk away. Foundation repairs, they're in serious cases can range from $5,000 to well over $15,000. Stabilizing a severely compromised foundation they can climb even higher. And if your inspector flags structural movement or sagging floors or significant foundation cracking, don't proceed without an independent evaluation from a licensed structural engineer. Red flag number 2, active water intrusion and mold. Out here in the Poconos, we get real weather, rain and snow, freeze-thaw cycles. All of this puts pressure on a home's envelope, and if there's evidence of active water intrusion, water staining on the basement walls, efflorescence on the block, which it's a white growth on the wall, that's minerals coming through the block. You have to understand the source before it can be remediated, and definitely before you close. So don't rely on just the seller painting it over. And if that water intrusion has been left untreated long, significant mold growth can occur inside drywall or floor joists, and you're looking at a serious health hazard and a remediation bill that can reach into the thousands. So don't let that seller paint the mold problem over, and call it fixed. Red flag number 3, dangerous electrical systems. So if your inspector identifies aluminum wiring, common in homes built between 1965 and 1973, or outdated Federal Pacific electrical panels, you take these seriously. These systems have documented histories of fire hazards. And many homeowners' insurance companies, they'll just flat out refuse to write a policy on a home with these panels in place, which means you can't close on a finance purchase without addressing it first. And if it comes down to it, rewiring a home can cost upwards of $15,000 or more. Replacing an electrical panel, they average right around $2,400. These are not cosmetic issues. These are safety issues. These are walk-away issues if the seller isn't willing to offer compensation. Red flag number 4, failing septic systems. This one is especially critical here in the Lake Ariel area because many properties here are on private septic systems rather than public sewer. If the septic system is failing, you're not looking at a little repair. You're likely looking at a full replacement. and those costs can range anywhere between $15,000 and $30,000 depending upon soil conditions and system type. In addition, most townships, they won't allow systems to simply be repaired, the systems that no longer subscribe to the code. They'll mandate a replacement that meets the current standards, and yeah, that's costly. So always request a separate septic inspection from a licensed septic professional before you close on any property with a private system. This is really non-negotiable. So now that you have all this, how do you handle, the scary inspection report? Well, you use what I call the costly versus cosmetic rule. Step one, go through every item on that report and put it in one or two columns. Column A, cosmetic, things that affect appearance, that are ugly, but only cost, a few $100s to fix. Column B, that's the costly column, things that are structural, safety related, or involve major systems with repair cost over $1,000. And step two, let everything in column A, let it go. Don't waste your negotiating capital on cosmetic items. Sellers know their house isn't perfect, and nickel and diming them over, paint and carpet stains, it's how deals fall apart over nothing. I've seen it. Step three, for everything in column B, you have two options. You can ask the seller to repair the item before closing, but I rarely recommend this because you really have no control over how they fix it. The better move is to request that the seller offer you a credit at closing. That's cash in your pocket, and it enables you to hire your own licensed contractors and make sure that the work is done to your satisfaction. And well, this is where having a skilled local real estate agent in your corner makes all the difference in the world. See, I know this market, I know these homes, and I know how to negotiate a credit that not only protects your investment, but it doesn't blow the deal. So the difference between a buyer and, one that panics at a 40-item inspection report and the one who walks away with a few thousand in seller credits, well, it's having the right agent. Everyone has questions, and this is a big ticket topic, so I know you probably have them too. So give me a call. I'm Mark Bond with Century 21 Select Group, and I live here. And if you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button, and I'll drop some real local real estate content every week right here. No fluff, just information that you actually need to win in this market. Thank you for watching.